Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Gyan Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Om. Adoration to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha in Nirvana Prakarana Purvartha, section 9. The division of the three gunas, the modes of nature. Topic is giving you profound insight into Vedanta philosophy, Advaita, non-dualism. All is Brahman. And of course, that's the goal of your life. The real ideal, the deal with the I. Make a good deal with your I. And that deal is liberation. Any other deal is not good. Sri Rama asked, O sage, you have stated that Shiva, Vishnu and all the great divinities belong to the realm of avidya. More correctly, the realm of Prakriti. Because avidya term and vidya, they are used in different contexts. I'm going to give you a deeper insight. This has created confusion in my mind. How can these divinities who are extolled in the scriptures be considered to abide in the realm of ignorance? Means realm of Prakriti. Being confined to Prakriti is not liberation. Understand the role of Prakriti, again reminding you, Brahman alone is real, the absolute. Prakriti is his magical power. So just like you view magician with magical power is not different from magician. Both are one and the same. But those who become deluded by his magical power, for them, magician becomes distant. Let me explain. For example, you have an old parable. A magician, old-time magician, were very powerful, hypnotic. He had mesmerized a whole group of people around him. And he was saying so many things. He was saying, look my magic. Just before your eyes, I am going to plant a mango tree. And they are already mesmerized. So whatever he says, they begin to see it. He plants a little seed and sees how it begins to shoot comes out and soon turns into a tree. Behold, magic, it blossoms. fruits have come. Yeah? When you are hypnotized, then you act according to the will of the magician. Whatever he wants you to see, you see. Now the mangoes are falling. Pick up the mangoes and eat. And they act as if it is real for them. A person from a distance sees nothing but one man with some few people around him. And he hears what the magician is saying. And he also sees how the people, like monkeys following monkeys, are acting. So that's the view of one who is not enlightened, is under the hypnotic control. One who is enlightened is seeing you from a distance. So that point has to be understood. So all that is happening under hypnosis is unreal. But not for people who are in that field of hypnotic influence. And again reminding you of Brahman, whose Maya, whose magical power is Prakriti. The Prakriti comes in three modes. Sattva predominating Prakriti is Maya. That Maya term is used for Brahman to assume the role of creator, sustainer, destroyer, as well as the role of Ishta Devata. Whichever way, because Ganesha, Subramanya, Saraswati Devi, all those Ishta Devatas are same Brahman. But that's because of Sattva predominating Prakriti. Brahman alone is real. These personalities, they are unreal. So keeping that in view, the confusion is being clarified by sage Vasistha. Confusion, we are all in the realm of Maya, engrossed. And if Brahman himself, if Ishvara himself, Vishnu, Shiva, Brahma, if they are all in the same realm, then there is confusion. Who will lead where? And what the use of saying, Trahimam, Trahimam? When they themselves have no freedom. But not so. They are the ones as if coming from a distance. They are completely untouched by the magic. But they are playing the role of leading souls trapped in hypnotic magic to be liberated. So, same Brahman has taken two roles. The role of guiding the souls to liberation through Vidya. Maya comes into two stages, Vidya and Avidya. But first let me simplify. First, Sattva predominating Prakriti brings Maya, Brahman into the role of Ishvara. And Ishvara is, I have explained already, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Ishta Devatas. Same Brahman, through Rajas predominating Prakriti, that's termed Avidya. Through Avidya, Brahman appears as countless souls in different stages of evolution. They are like so many reflected suns in different jars of water. They are all at the mercy of the sun. Mercy is allegorical term. And then same Brahman, through tamas predominating Prakriti, takes the role of all the matter that's needed for the soul's evolution. Panchatattvas, 5 subtle elements, and all the products arising out of those subtle elements through numerous combinations. So keeping that in view, and liberation is that state where you realize, I am Brahman. As Brahman, all this Prakriti being magical power. So you don't sit, if you have certain power, you don't sit in one chair and put your power in another chair. You are one and the same. So Brahman is absolute one and the same. And that this realization, Aham Brahmasmi, is the goal of life. That's mukti, that's moksha. Sri Vasistha explained, O Rama, Brahman, or the absolute self, transcends the 3 gunas of nature, sattva, rajas and tamas. The great divinities are endowed with pure sattva, and therefore, though belonging to the realm of gunas, of which this illusory world is constituted, they are not dominated by Maya. Pure sattva does not obscure the vision of the Absolute. So, Lord Vishnu attends to so many souls, looking after their problems, guiding them, upadrashtanumantacha, is overseer. He encourages those who are on the right path, waits to shower his grace, and so forth. All the role that is played. All this is not creating any burden in the mind of Vishnu or Shiva or any aspect of God. All this is called Leela. From divine point of view, all this, God does it as a sport. That again to satisfy your mind, because that's the only way you can understand. Otherwise, you will start asking, is he so bored that he always watches this sport? I'm joking. Same dream, when you come to realize you are the dreamer, becomes a sport. Brahman transcends all the 3 gunas that we have explained, and these deities, Ishtadevata, Ishvara, that is worshipped as Saguna Sakar as well as Saguna Nirakar, both aspects of Ishvara are in the realm of Maya. But they are not controlled by Maya. They are the ones controlling Maya. All living beings belonging to the gunas of Prakriti, some are sattvikas, some are rajasikas, some are tamasikas. Further, those who are sattvikas are of 3 types. Sattvik sattvika, Sattvik rajasika, Sattvik tamasika. All this is just to understand, it's a common sense. There are only 3 gunas, but there are countless people. So you must realize these three gunas go through many permutation, combination process and can bring about countless souls in different stages. Further, those who are sattvikas, we have explained that. So as the gunas give rise to numerous combinations, so do there arise numerous beings, sages, saints, siddhas, beings endowed with various spiritual powers, and various classes of gods are sattva predominating in nature. Even among these beings, Shiva and Vishnu are endowed with the absolute purity of sattva, while others are tinged with either rajas or tamas. And therefore, again, it's another aspect. Whom should you worship? You can worship Indra, but not for moksha. If you are worshipping deities, not for attaining liberation, the deities who are presented in the scriptures allegorically, Indra, Varuna, and many other deities are there who give you different needs, fulfillment of different needs. But they don't give you liberation. And there are deities who are the central deity, Ishta Devata, who gives you all that you want, bhoga, moksha, in whatever stage. All this again is allegorical. This is not exactly so. It is matching up to human mind explanation. And so it's providing you for your sadhana. Where should your mind be for worshipping God? And broad understanding is there, no matter which God you worship. Understand, real God is Brahman alone. If you understand that, your worship becomes more profound. It's the same God. If you are worshipping Lakshmi for prosperity, same God has taken the role of Lakshmi to give you prosperity. Same God has taken the role of Saraswati to give you knowledge, inspiration. Same God is behind all your gods. And when you develop love for that same God, in spite of all the gods, and in all the way you worship them, in spite of all that, then called Ananya Bhakti. Your devotion is only for absolute, even though you have countless gods to worship. But that's very advanced understanding. That is being real worshipper of God. Otherwise, your worship is like a warship. Tamas veils the self. Rajas projects the illusory world process. Therefore, blinded by avidya, ignorance, the souls are unable to realize the truth of the non-duality of the self. This point has been brought into Ramayana in a highly allegorical way. The role of Kumbhakarna, Ravana and Vibhishana. Kumbhakarna is a tamas that is completely obstructive. Ravana is a rajas operating through his 10 heads. He never understands with one head. And Vibhishana is sattva. The role of sattva, when it becomes advanced, when he becomes in touch with Rama, Vibhishana becomes the basis of success of Rama. All demons, etc., are destroyed with the help of Vibhishana. So that's the role of sattva in you is Vibhishana. Rajas in you is Ravana. Tamas, Kumbhakarna. To get too much tamas, just slow. They'll roar. The very same pure consciousness assumes the role of avidya and continues to keep the souls in a state of delusion. And the very same self assumes the role of vidya and brings about awakening it in itself, thus realizing I am Brahman. Pure consciousness, that's Brahman, the absolute. Consciousness is awareness. You are aware of seeing, hearing, touching. Awareness is common denominator behind your hearing, seeing. Go further behind your thinking, feeling. Go further behind all the dreams of your ego. Awareness is the truth behind all this. All things you are aware of, physical, sentimental, thought-based, all these are like reflections in the mirror of awareness. Reflections are not realities. Awareness is the reality. That absolute awareness is Brahman, called Chit or Chaitanya. More extended term, Sat Chit Ananda. Absolute existence, absolute awareness, absolute bliss. That's your reality, no matter how long it may take for you to realize it. But that's your reality, ever-present reality. It never goes away and then waits for you to come on a particular day. Just as fire ceases to exist when it has consumed its fuel, in the same manner, when vidya has negated avidya, vidya itself becomes non-existent and Brahman alone remains. Now the role of Maya comes in two aspects, vidya and avidya. Avidya keeps your mind engrossed with ignorance and details of ignorance. Avidya keeps your mind dominated by ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, fear of death, all the kleshas. You are gripped by all the kleshas and their ramifications. And that's what life is. Vidya sublimates all the negative forces generated by ignorance. Avidya is the source of creating short-circuited energy. Vidya sublimates it. More easy to understand, avidya creates a lot of fuel. Vidya burns them up. So after the fuel is finished, vidya's role also is finished. Beyond vidya and avidya, when the soul emerges out of the limit of Maya, then the soul is same as Brahman. Because Brahman became souls through Rajasi Prakriti. Just as a magnet, though seemingly inactive, causes action in iron filings. The modern world doesn't need to hear this type. There are lots of subtle energies, how they operate. But just like we give the illustration of snake on the rope, simple illustration. How does a magnet, doesn't have hands, doesn't have mustache, draws things, and iron filings, they just run to the magnet. Similarly, all souls are being drawn by God. But if there is any obstacle between the magnet and that which is being drawn by the magnet, then that will not allow that contact to happen. But once you go on removing the veils of illusion, your soul is rushing towards the state of attaining enlightenment, realizing Aham Brahmasmi. The Aham Brahmasmi, truth, is the magnet. Section 10, the role of inquiry for removal of ignorance. Sage Vasistha continued, O Rama, Brahman, when unknown, appears as the world process. When you are ignorant of Brahman, then Brahman is unknown due to ignorance. When known, that means through knowledge, you come to realize Aham Brahma. Then what happens? The negation of the world process. The world of triad. Just like when you wake up, there's a negation of your dream world. Three aspects of your dream: the dream subject, the dream world, the dream experience. All the three move away. And you have ordinary rehearsal of that in your deep sleep. All the world of your past, present, and future. All the world of your subject, I am, this personality, this is the world, this is my experience, what is called triad. All that which is real in your waking state, they simply move away. And you don't think it is tragic. Because it is a reality. All this didn't mean much. All this is an illusion, sustained by your iPad. The difference between the world and Brahman is caused merely by ignorance, and when ignorance is removed, there is nothing but Brahman. So there is a role of ignorance and knowledge. All that appears in this world is nothing but Brahman. When a rope is viewed in semi-darkness, it erroneously appears to be a snake, although it is never anything but a harmless rope. Similarly, there is nothing but Brahman, harmless, miseryless, virusless, mortality-less, multiplicity-less. Just as that snake ceases to exist as a result of inquiry, you become curious. Where is that snake? And start bringing light to find, to beat it up. But by the time you find it, it's just a rope. You simply slap your own head. I'm joking. The world process exists in twofold manner. A sense of I-ness towards the body and mindness towards the objects of the world. Let me explain the point. There are two aspects. One is called Bahiranga, another is Antaranga. The world you are experiencing, the world of illusion. Antaranga, your subjective world. Your body, your mind, your intellect. More precisely, your me and mine. Ahamta. Ahamta is more important than mine. Mine means you are relating to objects of the world. So that exploring, who am I, in a subjective way, that's Antaranga movement. Bahiranga, same Brahman is everything that you encounter. And all that sentiment you experience through many relations, near and dear ones, it's a Bahiranga. The same Brahman is expressing in the form of the world around you. Identified with the Chitta, the self believes in its own destruction. Identified with the Chitta means your identity stayed limited only with your own mind. Because it's the mind that is bringing out the statement of I am. When you say, this is me, its mind is doing it. When you are in deep sleep, people are looking for you, and you don't say, this is me. What happens to your me? Like a cat, meowing cat, it slips under the bed. So, this is called identity with the Chitta. Chitta is your mind. Mind-based identity. That identity is illusory, like a snake on the rope. Just as the ether inside a jar is unaffected by the destruction of the jar, in the same manner, the self is unaffected by the cessation of the Chitta. Now, to build up your imagination, think of the jar. In the jar, there is space. But when you look into the jar, you don't say it is space. You say there is some content there. That's one type of illusion. Now look into the content of the jar. You are seeing space reflected in it. A bigger space. Now you get confused between the pot ether and the reflected ether. So that type of confusion develops in human mind. And it is corrected by Vedantic inquiry going after Tattvamasi. Thou art that. You are not that reflected sun. And the space you are seeing, in which you are dancing, that space itself is a reflected space. The real space is not confined to your pot. Break the pot, throw away the water, destroy the reflected space in the water, but nothing has happened to the real space. Think of it. Vedanta uses all this logic to lead you to understand the absolute reality of I am Brahman. Like an ignorant child, the self identified with the mental process experiences pleasure and pain, riding on the waves of the mind. Vrittis, led by thought waves of your mind, vrittis of the mind. You experience all the pleasure, pain, and all countless experiences of the world. All are dominated by the central experience, pleasure, pain, likable, not likable. When chitta becomes composed, one feels that his self is healthy, is normal. When chitta is turbulent, it finds itself in a state of agitation. In other words, you view your joy, what is desired and what is not desired. Put it more in a simple way. All that you desire based on ego identity is illusory, because this is being interpreted by the vrittis of your mind. Put it more in a simple way to understand, all that you see in your cinema show are projections. Projecting device is like mind. Projections are the vrittis. So as long as projections continue, you are not seeing the reality, the screen. But it is the screen that has become given reality to every projection. And when projections move away, you don't see any taint on the screen. The screen is untouched. That screen-like reality is pure consciousness. Chit, that's what you are essentially. As long as the mind goes on playing the role of your identity, then riding on the waves of your mind, implying led by the thought waves of your mind. Now you are in a world of projections. And it's a vast world like big ocean. But no matter how you may experience your world, samsara, the entire samsara of your experience is in reality nothing but pure screen, absolute aware. And again reminding you, in deep sleep, what happens? All vanishes. A simple illustration is a magic of your mind. And you depart, same thing happens at the time of death. You don't have to even die. As one ages and sees the brain being depleted, things that you considered so real, people whom you considered so lovable, now your dearest personality comes near you. Who are you? Here we're putting in a simple joking way, but it's a terrible thing. But in spite of all this terrible thing, all that point is the magic of your mind, magic of your nervous system. How can you find absolute peace and rest in this predicament? So that sense must enter to understand the difference between mortality and immortality. Immortality is not to increase the life of the mortal body. Immortality is to discover, I am that. Like a spider, The soul identified with the chitta continues to weave the web of bondage and becomes entangled by it. This is the website. And behind all this website is the screen of consciousness. But everybody has their websites. Each website has a different world. And there is a world within the world. File within file. Folder within folder. Though it is the cause of its own bondage, it is unaware of it. In other words, you are Brahman. You are the reality sustaining all that you see through your website. Website is the work of the spider web. It goes on creating in a magical way. You are sleeping, come out and see a big spider has created a big web. And don't even think how much science has been needed. How much engineering is it? must be with the brain. And look at the spider, you hardly know how it can do all this. And it's on that basis, computers are called websites. Sri Rama said, "O sage, please enlighten me as to how this dense ignorance abides in numerous bodies." Sage Vasistha replied, "O Rama, led by ignorance, Jiva consciousness abides in the immovable objects in a state wherein the mind is neither dissolved nor is capable of rational mentations." This is all definition of different things you experience in the world. The things that you see, they are inert. In relation to those, that means your interpretation led by your mind. You look at a table and say, "How are you?" The table doesn't say anything. You say, "Inert." So, the idea of inert or conscious is in and through your mind. But we have already explained all the material worlds. They are Brahman through tamasi Prakriti. Same Brahman as you are, essentially. Ghat ghat mein hai sai ramata. In every personality, the literal means in every jar, there abides the same truth. God abides in everyone. But with everyone, in every name and form. Brahman is there in your knife, in your spoon. Brahman is in every dust particle. Brahman is in permeates the entire universe. This shouldn't give you a big struggle for your mind. In your dream, you are everything in your dream. If that can be understood, understand the same way. Brahman is the reality behind all that you experience through your website. Everyone has his or her own mental process. Jiva abiding the trees and plants is neither in sleep-like state nor in state of wakefulness. For such a jiva, there is no possibility for self-effort. So don't be like a tree, you see. O Rama, these living beings in the immovable forms, though apparently devoid of egoistic mentations, are far distant from the state of liberation. It is only when the individual brings about the cessation of the ego consciousness by knowledge that he becomes free from the world process. In other words, self-effort becomes possible when you have the possibility of practicing inquiry, who am I? When you are able to use your head, your intelligence. Birds and beasts all have their intelligence, but the intelligence is not the type of intellect that will bring self-effort. That type of intellect they don't have is instinctive level of intelligence. Amazing things birds and animals do. Just like I said, spider can make such a big web, but the spider cannot have that dimension of a human personality. When will I be free from this web work? Led by law of karma, the soul incarnates in another embodiment. But no matter which embodiment, unless you incarnate in a human embodiment, the question of following the paths to attain liberation will not arise. You don't sit down and tell a tree, look, I tell you about Vedanta. You are Brahman. So don't break your branches. Unnecessary. There is also a satire behind. If human beings, you do not receive thoughtful knowledge, if your mind is not interested in being thoughtful, there is not that much difference between you and birds and beasts and trees. So with this I will conclude. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras grace of God over all to relieve the misery brought about by coronavirus. And the message, Corona Bhaya. Do not be afraid. And go after the death virus, that's your real virus. And attain immortality. And don't have to work hard. It is your sadhana in daily life, backed up by integral yoga movement and increasing trust, faith, and your whole path of ascending steps of wisdom that's before everyone. And may God shower His blessings on all. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmuva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukhyamamritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukbhag Bhavet Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.